I'd like you to imagine you've just clicked on a video uploaded from the official Nintendo YouTube account with a black or nondescript thumbnail titled "A Smashing Surprise Announcement." This is what follows. A black screen fades up on what appears to be the cutscene from Metroid Prime when Samus first lands her gunship on Talon 4, but clearly recreated through CG animation and not directly ripped from the remaster or something. Samus exits her ship and our view becomes hers, complete with her combat visor HUD. She turns her view to the left and notices what looks to be a bomb arrow from The Legend of Zelda rapidly pulsing with a growing red hue. As the glow solidifies and the bomb expands, we see the shock and terror on Samus's eyes through the reflection of her visor. The camera cuts to a more dynamic angle as she transforms into her morph ball and attempts to get away, but is unable to completely escape. The bomb explodes and the morph ball is sent hurling into her gunship, which she ricochets off of and lands in the nearby water. Samus emerges to look for her off-screen attacker, but a bright neon figure zooms just above and behind her, which the camera decides to follow. It's an Inkling from Splatoon, zipping around not unlike a radical skateboarder atop the ink-propelled device players in Splatoon 3 begin matches on, but decked out with a pair of what appear to be cybernetic enhancers, sporting X-shaped indentations around the circumference which glow alternating rainbow colors. Fire arrows are flung in rapid succession at the Inkling, but none connect with their target. The Inkling taunts the off-screen attacker, who is revealed to be Link from The Legend of Zelda, perched atop a distant ledge clothed in his traditional green garb, though not any specific version of it. He's mounted atop his trusty steed Epona, who is adorned in horse armor which looks similar to that of the enhancers of the Inkling's hover device. Link quivers his arrows and pulls on Epona's reins. The camera zooms out as Epona stands on her hind legs and whinnies before they ride rapidly down their elevated station, leaving a rainbow-tinted sonic boom in their stead. In the same shot, we see Samus in the foreground with the camera fixed behind her shoulder. She looks then toward her gunship with determination, but just as she does, boom! Donkey Kong jumps off it like the Incredible Hulk. The camera follows him now. He's decked out in barrel-furnished battle gear with that same shape and glow coming from the cuffs around his wrists and ankles. The simian superstar is in pursuit of the Inkling, shooting ink all over the musty planet surface while failing to hit the primate pursuer. DK takes a quick couple more Hulk bounces off the ink-splattered terrain before getting a rocket boost thanks to his rocket barrel rocking little buddy Diddy on his back, which propels him toward the zip-zooming Squid Kid. They collide in a blast of ink and banana peels, one peel of which the camera follows as it lands a short distance away and something drives over it. It's that lovable mess Luigi, driving a cart seemingly fashioned from EGAD-patented Poltergust technology, but with an RGB twist I'm sure you expect by now. He spins out for a time but quickly puts his foot back on the gas in a panicked hurry, as he's being pursued by the water wraith from Pikmin 2, who surely means to flatten the poor plumber. 3 guesses as to what shape and glow the liquid lummox's rocks are displaying. Luigi looks like he might get away, until he notices he's headed straight for Link, who's brandishing his Master Sword in apparent preparation to strike at the mustachioed malcontent. This threat is quickly diverted as the Inkling zooms onto the scene and takes the battle with the Hylian hero out of Luigi's way. He lets out a cheer of excited relief, which is immediately interrupted as he crashes his cart into a blast cap. An unforeseen environmental hazard, to be sure. Our green-clad coward is now moments away from being squashed by the water wraith, when zap! A laser blast stuns the aquatic aggressor. Who's done this? Why, look over there! Samus's gunship! Whatever chaos is ensuing on this once-abandoned planet, Samus has decided to intervene. We then see Samus at the helm within the interior of the ship looking a bit surprised as her vessel begins beaming with brilliant light, which then dissipates to reveal a new, sleeker design, sporting enhancers similar to the ones every other wackadoo at this kerfuffle's got. DK and Diddy are fast approaching to take on this new spaceship challenger with fists at the ready, but Samus quickly presses a button on her dashboard shaped like the screw attack and counters the Kong's impact. As these two parties collide, so too do the Inkling and Link, then Luigi and the Water Wraith. The 3 conflicted parties struggle against one another when finally each showdown emits a shine and a blast of blinding whiteness envelops the screen. A black variation of the Super Smash Bros. Logo splashes against this white screen. It simply reads, Super Smash Bros. Until the subtitle of a different font dashes onto the scene colliding with the familiar logo, altering it now to read, Super Smash Bumpers. Phew! Okay, done. You can go back to remembering you're watching an A-Talking Sock video now. It's the only way I can explain what just happened. Smash Kart or Nintendo Kart is just one of those ideas every Nintendo fan wants because the appeal of the premise is just so darn broad. Everybody in the dang world can appreciate a good game of Mario Kart. Excluding the Amish, they prefer Diddy Kong Racing. And Nintendo fans, hell, gaming fans in general, love Super Smash Bros. Primarily for how it crosses so many beloved universes together. Donkey Kong and Girl from Hajimori no Mori under one roof? What a time to be alive. Mario Kart Super fans, tied only with Dr. Pepper aficionados for world's most overindulgent hyperfixation, are opposed to the idea of Mario Kart giving way to Nintendo Kart, because Lord forbid Mario only have his greasy brand plastered on 999 ongoing series instead of 1,000. But in fairness, I agree that it'd be odd and frankly counterproductive to introduce Smash Kart and just have it be Mario Kart with a different name. Folks online, like Arlo, have argued that taking this approach would be the most expedient, as characters sitting in carts take less development time than wholly unique fighters a la Smash Bros. And he's right, but I think he's underestimating just how many casual players not plugged into the gaming scene care about Nintendo crossover, as opposed to simply Mario Kart. Mario Kart's a phenomenon, an institution. You can play it, I can play it, babies can play it, Uncle Horvis, he got 4th place once. Birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. So why would Nintendo willfully abandon this long-running string of expected successes just to put Princess Daisy on equal footing with Thanatos? Smash Kart is still an easy bet for success, just not as something to overtake Mario Kart. So then, do they just introduce it as another thing? Nintendo releases 2 nearly identical Mario Kart games, but one's got a different logo? Not exactly. Sorry, Arlo. But while the expediency of just copying the Mario Kart method of sticking a 3D model into any old car is enticing from a just flood the roster with as many lovable characters as you can standpoint, I think Smash Kart should be less Mario Kart but with Smash characters, and more Smash Bros, but it's a kart game. What the am I talking about? I'll tell you, don't swear. See, the key thing about Smash Bros is that it has a low skill floor and a high skill ceiling. Not so low of a skill floor that those educated fleas who play Mario Kart can do very well though, mind you. But it's commendable that Smash has a gazillion little guys to choose from, but they all have the same simple controls despite executing different moves. That's what keeps the game accessible to, like, your little brother. He knows whoever he picks, he can get a little extra height when he presses B and up at the same time. Uncle Horvitz doesn't get it though, so he goes to the other room to play Diddy Kong Racing with the Amish. So how do you translate this concept to a racing game? Short answer, you don't. You put them in carts, but you don't have them race, you have them fight. That's right, I'm talking about car combat. A genre Uncle Horvitz can get behind, because even if he's not winning, it's just fun to watch your dude crash and burn. The idea I'm proposing is something not unlike Twisted Metal or Cell Damage. A game wherein every match takes place in a big 3D arena, and you take control of a racer operating a vehicle of sorts, whose goal it is to maybe be the last man standing, or become king of the hill, or rack up the most points, or whatever you set the rules to. Maybe one of those rule sets is a straightforward lap-based race, I don't care. I just think the idea of combining Smash Bros with Mario Kart would be a lot more interesting if you play up the smashing of bros, more so than the Marios and Karts. To divulge on the roster a bit, my thought process for choosing characters came second to the all-encompassing method by which they are represented. As you'll recall from my trailer concept, every combatant's vehicle contained enhancers of sorts that glows like the Smash Ball and bore the mark of the Smash Bros logo. These are called Smash Bumpers. See what I did there? These things not only look super cool, but they lend the cast a sort of uniformity that prevents any members from feeling visually out of place. Visual consistency was a trait the Smash Bros. Series was once revered for, but Ultimate, I feel, made one too many missteps along the way. Steve is an obvious one, but I'm sorry, Persona fans. My siblings and friends not as attuned into gaming culture will never fail to laugh out loud at how awkward some of these Joker victory animations are. Anywho, you'll probably also recall that this cast wasn't limited to just carts. Luigi had one, sure, but Samus had her gunship, Link had Epona. Heck, DK and the Water Wraith were driving themselves. Each combatant from across these various worlds fall into 4 distinct skill classes and 8 distinct vehicle types. This way, even while many characters appear to be singularly special snowflakes in a sea of exceedingly unique fighters, they still boil down on a basic level to a variation of a template. Sort of like ARMS, each character is uniquely different, but every character still plays more or less the same. The 4 skill classes are All-Rounders, Speedsters, Tricksters, and Tanks. Each class brings different advantages and drawbacks to how your combatant handles, travels, and executes moves. The 8 vehicle types are Mounts, Carts, Beasts, Chariots, Boards, Bikes, Spacecrafts, and Tanks. But not like the skill class tanks, like the actual vehicle tanks. Maybe we'll rename one of those, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Each type gives a general impression on how your combatant maneuvers, what sort of moves are available, and whether or not they are the Water Wraith from Pikmin 2. Bruh. The Inkling, for example, is a board trickster. Link is a mount all-rounder. Samus and her gunship is a spacecraft tank. You get the idea, right? This is all well and good, you may be thinking. But what about this skilly-typey setup plays into that low-skill floor, high-skill ceiling thing you made sound so important before? Well, I'm getting to that now. Thanks for not swearing this time, but I do not appreciate your tone. Because this would be a 3D game, the tried and true B plus D-pad inputs wouldn't be viable here. So instead, we'll do things similarly, but different. The A button would be for boosting. Press, hold, and release at opportune times to unleash a boost that gives you speed, momentum, and a chance to parry attacks, all if timed right. The B button would be for braking, in case you need to stop or slow down. L would be for shielding. This would work similarly to regular Smash Bros, only it can be deployed while moving, albeit a bit slower. L and A would let you do a quick dodge as well. R would be for firing projectiles, which every combatant would have by default. Name any Nintendo character you can find a projectile canon to their universe that fits. Seriously, test me in the comments, there's always a projectile. Holding R would let you unleash a charge projectile as well. Most of them would just be bigger versions of regular shots, but some could be different, like Mario's regular is a fire flower, but the charge one has his steed Yoshi hurl an egg. X would be for jumping, straightforward stuff. Not as important here as it is in mainline Smash games though. This is a fairly ground-based game. Y would be for deploying items, which would be more like Mario Kart items than Smash items. They're trapped, they're status effects, they're not Mr. Saturn. Okay, maybe they're Mr. Saturn. And finally, ZL and or ZR are for deploying a smash attack, an up-close melee move that dishes a great deal of damage. However, if you and your opponent both perform a smash attack on one another at the exact same time, you'll enter what's known as a smash bumper. See what I did there again? Wherein you must time successant A presses in perfect time again and again until one of the combatants does so better than the other and sends their opponent flying. Oh, and by the way, yes, like the traditional Smash games, this game too would have a damage system whereby higher damage makes you more susceptible to flying further toward the blast zone. The blast zone here would be visual though, a semi-translucent barrier domed atop any given arena. There'd certainly be nuances amidst these attacks and such which would play parts in the meta, but I won't try to go into that here. I can only devote so many brain cells to an idea I'll never be able to officially execute. So let's move on now to something that I definitely devoted more brain cells than necessary to, the story mode. Don't worry, the rest of this video isn't about to become me reading my Subspace Emissary fanfiction in generous detail. I just have a general concept I feel is worth proposing. Now, the connective narrative thread of the Smash Bros. Series is the implication that the whole scenario is imagined by a child playing with their toys. Smash 64 all but confirms this out the gate by having the master hand set up toys of the characters and a makeshift stage at a desk in a child's room when you start the game up. Melee builds on this premise by introducing smaller toys that aren't as easy to play with simply being trophies in this universe. They even come out of a Gachapon machine for Pete's sake. Oh, and Giga Bowser is the final boss, and he's meant to be this version of Bowser that Sakurai had in his head as a kid who gave him nightmares, so yeah, there you go. It's all a glorified game of pretend. By the time we reach Brawl, the trophy idea becomes so much more expanded upon that it becomes a plot device in the single-player mode. And the villain of the single-player campaign is Taboo, who likely represents the cultural taboo that playing with toys past a certain age brings, thus explaining why his goal was to manipulate the Master Hand into turning all his happy-to-battle characters back into lifeless figures. Smash 4 sadly doesn't have much of a story, but it did introduce several different forms that exist within the Master Hand, plus the mode's Master and Crazy Orders, and custom moves. Smash 4 almost implies that the hands are maturing and trying to integrate their new ideas into their game with the toys to an excessive degree. Hell, maybe that's why the main side mode was a board game. I don't know, I'll write the speculative essay dissertation later. And finally, Smash Ultimate introduced World of Light, which carried this all-encompassing spiritual motif that invoked this idea of finality. The entire campaign begins and ends at what could either be daybreak or sunset at a seaside cliff resembling the final shot of Subspace Emissary and beginning shot of Brawl's intro. The villains represent Total Light and Total Dark and are the sources of Master Hands and Crazy Hands respectively. Neither bodes any tidings more favorable to our fighters though. And in the end, preserving the spirit of the game was all that mattered. So how would I move forward off the back of these ideas in this vehicle-based spin-off not directed by Sakurai? Well, since this game is a 3D arena fighter with gratifying movement, I think this mode should take cues from Diddy Kong Racing and CTR. You know, having a central hub world to explore that's riddled with challenges to uncover. And yeah, the progression is based on finding and going through doors which would take you to special challenges, etc, etc. Now as for the story itself, Robs, who serve as representatives of the Master Hand in universe, would be responsible for providing the Smash Bumpers, and everyone in the world of trophies would be having a swell time competing in tournaments, but the fun would be spoiled by an army of enemies led by a character called the Ancient Minister, who clearly isn't the same one from last time. They don't go around the world setting off subspace bombs, however, no. They simply steal Smash Bumper sporting vehicles, and the character's goals tend to be getting them back. By the end, in keeping with the meta-contextual themes, it would be revealed that the Smash Bumpers were being forged in a secret mine from a Master Hand kept in a torturous stasis chamber. This Master Hand would have scars on its knuckles, implying it might be the one from Brawl, suggesting of course that the Master Hand who hosts the tournaments here is someone new. At this point, the Ancient Minister penetrates the Tortured Hand's chamber and absorbs the energy, keeping it alive and ripe for exploitation. This transforms the Ancient Minister to a giant size so as to wear both the Tortured Hand and the current hand as gloves. And as he grows, his clothes tear away to reveal he was taboo the whole time. He wasn't dead, but merely left with little power following the events of Brawl. But now he's found something that gives him power again. Not the shame one imposes on a grown person playing with toys, but that which one imposes on the exploitation of an easy idea built off the back of something already beloved, like Smash Kart. But in the end you beat him and everything's fine, lol, forget about it. Okay, I officially need to start wrapping up now. The specificity of this video is killing me. The idea of combining Mario Kart and Smash Bros may be an obvious one that not only anybody could have thought up, but seemingly everybody has. But it's a concept that's got too much potential to ignore. Mario Kart 8 already started itself down that road by bringing in characters, tracks, and elements from series like Zelda, Splatoon, and Animal Crossing. But as a fan of dormant Nintendo racing series like F-Zero and Excitebots, and as a Smash Bros fan who specifically appreciates the series on a deeper level for including and celebrating the pieces of Nintendo's past who don't seem to matter as much as Mario and Pokemon, I wouldn't want Smash Kart to be the obvious thing, to be the safe bet, to be what we have but more. The idea of giving this concept a cohesive motif and visual style, game mechanics seldom seen in today's gaming landscape, and building its roster around finding characters who fit the game rather than pushing the game to fit the characters, led me to make this pitch, this video, this whatever it is, for Super Smash Bumpers. This concept may be built off the back of an obvious idea, but when splayed out in this fashion, it's not that idea, it's my idea. And even though it can never exist as I've described it, it can exist as this video. So it'll probably take a million years to make. Ugh, the editing is going to be my own personal torture stasis chamber. But it will all have been worth it if you enjoyed watching it. Which if you did, you should probably drop a like, comment, and a subscribe. It'd really mean a lot. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to reread this video script to see if there was a joke I made earlier I can bring back here to cap things off with. I did the Amish uncle thing 3 times, that's done. The thing about arms, I always talk about arms. Master hand, arms, hand, is that, no, that's nothing. That's, oh gosh. Oh, the swearing thing. That's right. I did the thing where I said and I censored it, but I was really only saying the whole time. They thought I was actually swearing, but I just said but they'll never know that I just said because I'm bleeping it. That's, well, that's nothing. That's not even a thing. That's... And half a year later, he finished the video and sat down to record the Endslate. Thanks again for watching, and a very special thank you to my Patreon patrons, who you could join here in the credits for as little as $1 a month. Patrons enjoy such perks as, you know, the credits at the end of the video here, but also behind-the-scenes updates, early access to videos, and a monthly audio-only show I do called The Dump of the Month, where I talk about whatever gaming and entertainment news happened in that, you know, previous month that struck my fancy. I'm really glad I got this video done in time to release it really early in the month of September here. I'm starting 2 new jobs that are really gonna start cutting into my free time, so yeah. For the rest of 2023, expect the full videos like this to be a lot shorter, maybe more in the range of like 10 minutes. Till then, I'll see you the next time I see ya.